sit and wonder about the times that it made sense, but nowadays I don't worry about what's past tense. My younger days I used to hang around with mad friends. If we just fell out, I don't really know what happened. A lot of people come around to keep you stagnant, distraction. So yeah, don't show them no compassion. We was really out here grinding, really rapping, stacking them Franklins, them Grants, and them Jacksons. Imagine if we would've never chased our passion, we probably would've never knew what happened. They was all just talk, we showed action. Once they leave, don't you let them back in. Just pack up all they stuff and send them packing. I'm blacking on anybody thinking they could act up with me. This vibe ain't for free, cause where I'm at in life, I'm only focused on me. Note the self, know yourself, focus on your health. They don't wanna help them, it, do it by yourself. Don't give them no excuse to put you on the shelf. If it's me, myself.
Hustle Smart with me, Charles Johnson. So today, I'm just gonna jump right into it. Hey, get out there and vote, do what you do here in the US. You know, we got the US presidential election going on. It wraps up here this week. November 5th is election day. Please go out there and vote. I don't care what party you vote for, who you vote for, just get out there and exercise your rights privilege as a US citizen. Now that that's out the way. The most important thing that I realize as we move through this election cycle is this: choice. The choice that we make each and every single day about anything in our lives, no matter how significant or how massive or impactful that may be. The choices that we make in our lives will dictate how our lives will play out in the short term and the long term. And I bring this up because I was getting so angry that people were saying things that they know are false, that they know is misinformation and disinformation and misaligned and misleading. They know it. It's a lie. And they deliberately go out there and say these things anyway, or do these things anyway. And I was like, wow, what type of person does it take? And I said to myself, you know what? I'm that type of person. I had to come to this realization that as human beings, we don't fully understand the power that lies in the choice that we make. I believe that at its essence, that's what separates us from the animals. That's what separates us from, a goldfish or polar bear, a lion, a zebra, a gazelle, a fly, a mosquito, grasshopper. Is choice, deliberate, willful, conscious choices that we make each and every single day. The problem where we screw up as human beings is that we choose, once again, choice, to deliberately ignore the consequences of that choice. We deliberately choose to ignore the consequences of that choice. We ignore the fact that the choices that we make each and every single day, no matter how insignificant it may seem to you and to myself, has an effect on the life of somebody in the short term or the long term. That everything I do each and every single day has an impact directly or indirectly on the life of another human being that lives and occupies space around me. That what I choose to fill my mind with is a choice, a deliberate one, a conscious one. The things that I choose to look at, the words that I choose to speak out of my mouth, the actions that I choose to put into action with my body, the movements of my body, the movement of my eyes, is all part of choice. And you hear so many people say the most valuable thing we have in this world is time. And I will put one other thing beside it, and that's the ability to choose. How tightly would you hold on to the choices that you have in life, the freedom to choose consciously, deliberately, willfully, the things that occupy your time, the things that occupy your life? If you knew you had a little bit of time left on this earth, the people that you choose to spend that time with will become very, very, very important to you. You will start to count your blessings to such an extent that you can no longer choose to waste time with things and people in places that no longer matter. Because yes, time goes on, and we only are given so much of it. But what we do between the day that we were conceived and the day that we pass away and become immaterial in this world, that space, that span, that scale is full of a collection of choices that we decide to make. And some of us can, show empathy and sympathy to those who decide to make bad choices, which is true. But I also want people to start thinking more deliberately, strategically, gain a higher level way of thinking, a higher perspective, more of a competitive advantage on the world at large or at life, to look at things from a higher altitude and understand that the choices that we make and the decisions that we make to get mad about certain things, we should choose not to give that thing our time or our energy. We give so much power through choice to people, places, and things that need not be included in our lives. This is something that I've tried to rack my mind around. Like, Charles, why are you getting so mad, so agitated? Why are you allowing things that don't matter in the scheme of things, or the choices that people make in their own lives personally, take up so much space, occupy so much time, so much energy in your mind and just your well-being and your joy, your happiness? Why are you allowing these things to bring you down? Because I'm deciding to do so. I'm making a choice to do so. And so this is what I want you to do. Time never ends. And the amount of it that we've been given within this small span of time that we come into the universe, that when God created us, we don't determine how much time we have between the day we were born and the day that we die. But I want you to understand that the choices that you make, the things that you decide to act on, the way that you decide to act, decide to think, decide to speak, decide to live your life, will determine the quality of that time. It's not about how much time you have, but the quality of the quality of the time that you have on this earth is far more important than how long you have on this earth. Imagine if you were born into prison and you lived the entirety of your life in prison, where you didn't have the freedom to choose when you took a bath, how you took a bath, who you congregated and conversed with, what you wore, what your future will be. The ability to go out there and find a mate, a partner. What if you lived your life that way, the entirety of your life? And think about how meaningless it would feel when you reach the end, because the quality was lacking, as opposed to someone who's free, who has the privilege and ability to go about the world as they see fit and fill their time with people, places, and things that matter to them, that would feed them, that would make them more intelligent, more inspired, more fulfilled. Imagine that life. It makes you choose your actions with a little bit more care, more strategically, deliberately, consciously, thoughtfully. We see the choices that we make each and every single day. You hear this term YOLO, you only live once, which is absolutely true. Like, but sometimes you only get to decide how you live that life that you only get one of. the choice that you make, you only get to make that choice once. The quality of your life, or the lack thereof, is oftentimes made with one choice. You always hear this people say, man, I wish I can turn back the hands of time. Why? Because if they can go back and change that choice, they would do it all over again in a different way. If I had the option, the ability, the privilege of choosing to do something opposite to what I've done up until now, I would go back in time. I would make that choice. I would pay anything for that choice. That's what people say to themselves. That's called regret. I would say the greatest equation that we could have in our life is the choices that we make compared to the amount of regret we have for those choices. Which scale is bigger? Getting to the end of our lives and knowing that the choices that we made in life, not only that they impacted our lives, but the lives of those around us. And if we had made different choices, how could we have made our life and somebody else's life better? You see, you look at those things, you say, yes, man, I did everything to the best of my ability, or man, there is so much more I wish I can do, or there is so much more I wish I can go back and change. What is that equation looking like for you? Because there's a lot of people whose regret is super high. They get to the end of their lives and they have to swallow the fact that they wasted so much time by utilizing terrible choices and acting on those decisions. We need to start intently looking into the quality of the choices that we make. We see these examples each and every single moment of the day. We see it in the news. We see it in this election. We see it on people's resumes, on how people's lives have played out. That's why we love underdog stories so much, because they took a situation that they had no choice over, where life had decided that everything would be to their disadvantage. And the choices that they made compounded over time, again and again and again, put them in a place where they never imagined they would be. And then in contrast, you see the exact opposite of that. People who are born with every advantage, they all have worked themselves up to a place of prestige, only to make a choice that would end up bringing them down to a level they never thought they would ever be. I can't tell you how many times we've talked to people just walking on the street, vagrants, and people in transient living situations, or people living, without a home or homeless, right? And they tell you their story. They have, college degrees or pro athletes, whatever they used to do. They used to make more money than they make right now. Their situation was far more advantageous than where they are right now. And that they could just go back and make one decision to change everything, they would do it. All the people that we've seen in pro athletes, pro sports, they broke because they were taken advantage of by people who decided to take everything from them. And if they can go back and make a choice to do it all over again, they would choose somebody else. Because oftentimes when you have such an impactful choice in these situations, there's usually somebody there to tell you, hey, man, I wouldn't do that if I was you. I wouldn't trust that person. And we deliberately choose, willfully choose, consciously choose to ignore that advice and decide to do what in the long run will be the worst possible option, the worst possible choice. That's the danger of not being able to see the future. That's why we need to understand that discernment and wisdom and thinking from a higher level is to our advantage and something that we must utilize and understand, come to grips with, chase after. Because choices matter each and every single moment of the day. I can't tell you how many times I get so saddened by seeing the news day after day after day and watching these young people throw the entirety of their lives away and have to go rot away in somebody's prison, correction facility because of the choices that they made in life or the victims of those crimes, right? Because with the choices that we decide to make, those choices will impact the life of somebody else. But we also need to understand this, is that it's not our job to get mad at somebody else's decision, to get mad at somebody else's choice. It is our job to educate one another, to understand one another, show empathy for one another. Because I don't understand why people vote for whoever they vote for. But I do understand that at the end of the day, we all are in this together. That whatever happens, the choices that we make and the choices that the leaders in our lives make and at the local level or federal level, and even intimately in our own lives with our family members, do have an impact on the lives of others. But it is not our right to judge them and get upset or angry. It is our job, however, to continue to look at them as an equal, to love them, to not give them an advantage over you, to not give them power over you. So what they made that decision? So what? Keep moving on with your life. Move on with your life knowing that the irresponsibility of their choices, yes, it may have an impact on you, but what you decide to do after the fact is just as important as well. There are leaders and bosses and managers out there deciding right now, today, right now, to let people go. Fully understanding that there's people at their homes who are depending on that person who they decided to terminate, rightfully or unjustifiably, terminated them. People are making that decision. That choice will impact the life, directly or indirectly, of people around them and that person who were terminated. Just like the person who is terminated had a choice to do a great job, be a quality employee, or be a terrible employee, or made the right choices throughout their employment history to put themselves in a position that no matter what, they can always land on their feet. These are the things that we must decide each and every single moment of the day. These are the things that we take for granted each and every single moment of the day. We decide to make choices that are completely against our own self-interest and the interest of those around us. They're all deliberate. They're all willful. They're all conscious choices. This is something that we must come to grips with. That yes, people's choices will make us angry, agitate us, but that's their choice. You also have a choice. And the quality of that choice, as it refers to you, matters. And we need to understand that. You don't choose how much time you have on this earth, but you choose the quality of how you use that allotted time, however big or small it is. You have a choice. You have a choice. So choose wisely. Choose wisely. Hey, you all are awesome, amazing, wonderful human beings. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. And as always, if you're too afraid to walk beyond your fears, you'll never be brave enough to run into your destiny. I love each and every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. Hey, we're available on all podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube, Music. Everywhere and anywhere there's a podcasting platform, guess what, guys? We are there. And let me just give you all a massive shout out, man. You all have supported me over the years, and I appreciate each and every single one of you. This podcast has been listened to at least once on every continent on the face of the earth. And I appreciate each and every single one of you. You all have made that happen. Hey, I love you. Stay tuned. I appreciate you. Continue to support. Continue to subscribe. Continue to follow. I'm on all social media. Have a good one.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play it safe. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing.